It is 12 o'clock, so let's kick it off. Good afternoon, Bali and Bjorn. Thank you for joining us, guys. This is Lunchtime Marketing. The aim of what we do is always to add as much value to businesses out there, entrepreneurs, and anyone that's really, sorry, I've got reminders coming in at 12. And anybody
Welcome, Kevin. Welcome to your reminder. We're so grateful that you are here.
Thank you very much. So from my perspective, my business is Business by Design, where we help people advance their personal peak performance, and my daughter's here today as well. And Bjorn, tell us who you are and where you're from, and then we'll introduce our wonderful guest.
Last night I emceed an event and someone started off with Darth Vader. So I feel like I need to say I'm from planet Earth. No, my name is Bjorn. I'm from TNC Marketing and PR, and we help people to generate referrals and build their brand. And Lunchtime Marketing, as Kevin shared, is really just to help people. We really started at the beginning of lockdown. You know, Kevin had a conversation with me. I said, hey, let's make it bigger. My personality is like that. And so we've developed it over the last couple of months and had really amazing people on our show. And the aim is really just to help people with a lot of basics in marketing that they just don't get. You know, there's a lot of assumptions around marketing. You know, I had someone say to me recently, my standard phrase, they literally said this. They went, Bjorn, I sent out a tweet. I'm not trending. I said, how many followers do you have? I got 16. And I said, have you ever done any tweets before? No. I said, oh, okay, let's talk about social media marketing. So, you know, one of those things is we're here just to debunk. But today we're not talking about Twitter, are we, Kevin? Today we're talking about Facebook's I Know a Guy, which should actually be I Know a Girl.
There's an intro here. I must share this intro. I'm an accomplished networker, social entrepreneur, community developer, supporter, and accidental founder of I Know a Guy, a platform of youth, small businesses, and regular folk alike who like to share opportunities and refer the best guy for the job. Welcome to today, guys. It's Mbali Ndlovu.
Welcome. Yes. Everyone that's just joining us on the show, please remember to go clap, 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 clap. That's how Mbali knows that she's feeling some love. And us too. I mean, you know, we also want to feel a bit of love. I mean, Kevin's engaged. I'm not. So, you know, that hand's open. You know, like all the single ladies, all the single ladies. So fantastic. Great.
Mbali, thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us. Tell us more about you and I mean, I'm very curious and intrigued about who you are and what you do.
Well, my name is Mbali, and I'm, by default, by passion, by virtue of who I am, I'm a community developer, a connector, and a creator of things. I also work in the digital marketing space around digital communities and also building online communities with certain brands. But really, I'm happy where development is happening, progress, and putting people together that needs to get something done, which is essentially how I found myself as the accidental founder of I Know a Guy.
The accidental founder.
I love that. I love that. For everyone who's joining us, this is Mbali from I Know a Guy, and on our show we're going to call it I Know a Girl because we do. But if you have any questions for Mbali, please throw it into the chat. Even I've known I Know a Guy for years, and I've always had a million questions in my head. So even though we only have time for about 7 today, I might try and squeeze in the 8th one to get rid of that full million. So fantastic. So excited to have you here, Mbali.
To kick off with our first question, Mbali, tell us, why did you start I Know a Guy? And what for you was the important go-to, and why were you thinking we absolutely need some kind of reference or some kind of platform to sort of engage? What was it for you?
Well, I wish I had a really cool story to share, but basically it was the last full-time job that I had a couple of years ago, the absolute last. And it was, you know, a bit of events and project management and also really boring. So I spent a lot of my time on Facebook and just seeing that, you know, a friend of mine is in Cape Town looking for a photographer and a makeup artist. Another friend of mine is posting on Facebook, hey guys, the place that I work at is hiring. If you've got admin skills, whatever, like send me your CV. And what I would end up doing is sharing them onto my timeline and also obviously looking for certain things within the event space. but sharing them onto my timeline and tagging everybody that I knew, or everyone that I knew who knew someone, you know, because if I don't know a guy, I know a guy who knows a guy. And eventually my personal profile became a bit of a, like a yellow pages classified, you know, so I figured, let me just move everyone like into a group and have everybody meet each other. And because I really did try to find a space that was existing, and there are quite a couple, but I saw there were a few challenges, a lot of them quickly overwhelmed with spam, a little bit of limited controls, and I wanted to have a space of my people. And I just, yeah, that's what I did. I created a group with about 80 to 100 tops of my peers, the freelancers, the people that I knew who were somebody or who needed somebody. And it grew completely organically by word of mouth. And I now have a network of, I think around maybe 169,000 or 171K members. And that's been an incredible journey. It's grown. It grew into like this cool little thing that I was doing, like hook my friends up with gigs, you know. And then it just kind of has now grown into this really awesome economy of work. But not just work, you know. I've just over the time that I've created this platform, I've seen people come together to help somebody in need. There was a lady who needed to get her electronic wheelchair fixed, and I mean, she was unemployed, so she needed like a discount or something, but like the entire community came through for her. She got not only a better job, her stuff sorted out, and I really enjoy being a part of that, like digital Ubuntu in a way, or this like really cool actual community of complete strangers with a shared interest in connecting. Yeah.
Wow.
That's
incredible.
I forgot.
But I love how you kind of go, oh, you know, like 169,171.
You know, Cash.
It's like this, you know. I don't know. My tea is not too hot. It's not too cold. It's okay. Like, right, 169,000. Like, you know, kind of. You're like, you know, minor detail. I love that. I might have to tell you that, like, you know, I because of a few other stuff, and we'll have you on the show again about some other stuff that I know you involved in, and that's how I actually got in contact with you. Until the one day you so humbly put on the WhatsApp group, "Oh guys, well actually I'm the owner. I started the I know a guy," and I was like, "The real girl, like that girl." So you're like my personal hero. Totally. And the reason why it's so special to me is because I'm all about community development. Like, I love uplifting communities. My dream job one day would only to do PR and marketing for NGOs. That would be my absolute. I'd be like, yes.
So Bali, if I let Björn carry on.
Oh, sorry.
If you let us carry on, we'll have our own show together.
I'll just be standing here like watching you. So part of your profile, you speak about you're taken to Silicon Valley is to be invited as one of Facebook's first African ambassadors. Please tell us about that. I mean, that's quite fantastic.
It is the community leadership circles of Facebook, and essentially what it is it's just you seeing the work that I was doing. The guys at Facebook, I thought it was a scam. The guys at Facebook contacting, who DMs you from Facebook, like into your so that was
like what the?
And I was like,
why the face?
Like, okay, sweetie. Yeah, like okay, sweetie, and they persisted, and in 2018 they had launched something called the Community Leadership Circles, which is where Facebook as a brand, you know, with a lot of chaos going on, they had to really look within and see like what are the good things. There must be some good that we're doing on this app of ours, on these platforms of ours, and they found that that people come together in the form of communities. I mean, myself growing up in Soweto, there are just a variety of different communities that I belonged to. Myself being a creative, I belong to creative industries. I belong to the female community. I belong to so many different communities, and it's just really interesting to see that even online, we find a way to merge. I don't know. We just find a shared interest or a shared ethos, and we just come together. And Anna and Kieran contacted me and took me all the way to represent I know a guy in Silicon Valley at Facebook. At the emerging,
Awesome.
African chick, big eyes in the city. It was just like crazy. I was super mad, and no Americans can pronounce Mbali, so I eventually would just start, you know, calling myself Nakamba and like crazy ass names, like just for sport. But No, in the social side. But yeah, so it was really, really cool being invited to be part of the Emerging Market Summit. And then from there, I was invited or asked to be Facebook's ambassador for community leadership here. The circles were, we'd established the community leadership circles in Johannesburg. I was busy setting up in Soweto as well as in Cape Town, but that's obviously all changed with the lockdown and the current status quo.
Yeah.
So the community leadership circles framework itself has changed. But essentially it was a community of community leaders, which is really, really cool. Online communities, offline communities, NGOs, whatever it is people who come together for a really meaningful cause was the core of it. And yeah, so it was myself here in South Africa and another lady, Lerato, who later joined the program. And then we have a couple of maybe like 5 or 6 other ambassadors across the continent. And sure, man, it's grown. It's been really, really awesome to be a part of the Facebook family. Yeah.
Love it.
That's such a
DMs you on Facebook. That's my one. I know someone who got a DM on Facebook.
So can you tell us from your experience and reaching how you the extent that you have, how does I know a guy work most successfully? So how have you got and what little practical steps? Because so many people out there, they have pages, they have their brand online, and they're kind of going, okay, well, I'm not really sure how to connect, what to do. What is that, and how does it work successfully? Like, what advice can you give guys out there who are starting out, or just not really great with social media?
Yes. Well, I learned very quickly from the onset that what I was doing stood out from the others. So I'll go back to the beginning where I had created this community with myself and my peers, and that was it. I was happy with that. I was really okay with it. And through word of mouth and through them enjoying certain aspects of the community that I created, that's what really led to the growth. So I had to do a little bit of deeper digging and see what it is that I had done to create this quality. I mean, international film agencies were coming in to recruit videographers to come and work there. And just like the craziest name drops in that community, or Pikopi and like this and that. And I just had to figure out what it is that I'm doing right. And I noticed a couple of things. Just if I compare myself to the recruiter model, a lot of recruitment is you submit your papers, you submit your documents, you submit your CVs, you submit, all of these references, which are really great, but there's always that missed opportunity to connect with people. And while of course we can't connect with everybody out there, there is a really awesome power of referral and word of mouth. I think we all will agree with me from a PR perspective, because really it is like getting people to talk about something or to engage on a certain topic and expand on that creates a bit of creates talkability and success. So the word of mouth was really great. What I enjoyed, I think what I noticed in the community itself was, I think people found a bit of trust or bit of ability to trust somebody because you could see them. And I can check your profile. Okay, that person has a racist stuff. I'm not gonna hide that person. Or like, do you know what I mean? Like, just that person's super talented, based on whatever. And so I think that personal touch was really something that gave it a bit of mileage. Also, in that same breath, people trust referrals, and that's initially what the
high five to that. High five, true story.
Yeah, high five, babe. Full on referrals, it's what helps me in my industry. Don't you know somebody, and someone can vouch for somebody who's qualified. And also how this differs from the recruitment model is every time I want to say it, just goes out of my head. So just in terms of turnaround. So I think what people enjoy about a space of I Know a Guy is that you can get kind of quick, almost immediate and instant responses, at least within 24 hours, if not the first hour of your post going live. And people are coming to you, and you can kind of screen through that and see who's being referred. You'll find sometimes one supplier gets referred 6-7 times in that thread, and you're more than likely to go with that person, because why is everyone else going on about them? So I think there's a lot of time saving that comes into play. There's a lot of just a bit more of a slight connection that it's a bit in the recruitment process. And then also definitely I have been very, very strict around kind of the things that are allowed and what aren't allowed. So no advertising. I've never advertised once. I've turned down so many opportunities to advertise, but I would rather focus on creating a quality working experience, because I think every single day, just by virtue of being on Instagram or even on Facebook or wherever you are, just you have a lot of ads and everyone yelling at you to spend money on them. And I think I want to just isolate that from the space and let people speak to each other, speak for themselves. We've enjoyed a couple of workshops, a couple of meetups and workshops and really cool mini festivals in the past, which were just an absolute hit. And it really showed me that a bunch of strangers who connected on the internet are super happy to connect in real life. And I think just being able to be in that space of like connecting people, whether it's digitally or in person, it's a really, really valuable thing. And it's really, really awesome. Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Okay, before you go, just want to say, guys, welcome. I see people are joining the show, which is really, really awesome. If you have any questions for Mbali, we're interviewing Mbali from I Know a Guy, and in our show, we call it I Know a Girl. And so if you've got any questions, put it in the Q&A so that in terms of the chat, you guys can keep chatting and making comments, which is great. But we don't want to miss a really pertinent question. So at the bottom of your screen, you'll see Q&A. Click on that and just put the question in there. And Mbali, one of the things that someone spoke about is, I was like, how does I Know a Guy work practically? Can you kind of just chat us through, like, almost think about it like this. There's many things that you can do to make an advert look great. What makes people engage with someone faster? I mean, you've seen over the years. What makes people engage with someone faster with their copy, their picture, whatever? I'm not sure. You tell us. Or versus not engaging and people kind of go, okay, what now?
Yeah. Well, it comes down to the first thing that jumps to mind when you ask me this question is communication style. So the process from my side, when it comes to processing the content that goes out onto I Know a Guy, is we screen every single profile. So for the most part, no one who shouldn't be there is in there. We definitely make sure we have our own, I've created now over time the criterion for who we accept and who we don't. So already that first line of qualified people are coming into the community. I think where some challenges may be is, and this, I have daily, is people will just kind of go, hey, I need a cake. And you're going, babe, okay, cool. Like, you need a cake, but like, what's your location? What kind of cake? Like, who are you? You know what I mean? Like, and then, you know, like, help us help you, so you got to go tell those people.
What
DM price, cancel
Mrs. Cake go.
So it's, yeah, so just, so these little lapses in communication, or these just things that we don't think about that we have to actually think about. So it's my role there as well to be like, hey babe, if you want this to have mileage, maybe you just want to post again. I'm not going to approve that, but just post again, and be sure to include your locations, your budgets, your this and that and the others, contact information. I find also that suppliers fall a little bit short as well, in that I think, so myself, when I'm looking for work, I'll see like a keyword and I'm excited and like, wow, and I'm reacting to something. But I think that's what people experience when they see something on I Know a Guy. So someone will say, hey, I'm looking for a graphic designer. They need to specialize in X, Y, and Z. And also, I'm not taking comments, whatever, can you email me your portfolio? And then you'll see, oh, guys, the comments, please, if you can hear me, listen, in the comment section, then someone will be like, DM me. And it's like, no, bro, like, just email the person, you know what I mean? Like, meet us halfway, or like, so how much is the job with the person? And I'm just like, I twitch, man, and I wish everyone listening to put in a little bit of effort, because it does you a disservice. You look a little bit.
I love that. Put in effort.
I don't know, even if you really are a great supplier or a graphic designer or whatever, cake maker, like, and you're just going, are you leaving yourself a number? Are you leaving us something only? I think what is a missed opportunity for suppliers on I Know a Guy is when responding, because of how many different people are seeing that. And I've seen that many times in people who will hijack someone else's post. You're looking for a graphic designer, and then Kevin goes in and says, I'm also looking, and just goes through there and like, gets in touch with somebody. And so you really are also advertising yourself to like quite a big market. So really put in the effort to communicate. But yeah, what that looks like is some heavy moderation from our side. It's been cool growing the platform with Facebook. As there have been some really cool little adjustments and things that make it convenient, even though we are building an outside of Facebook app and website. But it's nice to also have the support from Facebook, where we can just kind of air these concerns or flags or just these things that can make the product look better, and they're always happy to oblige. But yeah, people need to communicate, and I think what makes us stand out is the fact that we try our best to be really, really safe. At any given time, there's at least 2 moderators that are screening the comments, screening the posts, making sure that we haven't accidentally let something go through, or a bad commenter, or like ignorant people come out every now and again, like and we've got to deal with those people as well. So yeah.
So I just want to make a comment on that, and I think I don't know if everybody knows this, but specifically on Mac and OS devices, I'm sure other devices do it too. You literally have something called shortcuts. So you literally, that whole thing that you're talking about, engage properly with people. If you are the supplier, have a proper, decent communication that you're sending people.
Yeah.
Obviously nobody wants to say, when you're sending out 10 or 20 of those messages and people are you don't want to, that's why people go like DM me. It's like, it becomes lazy, instead of doing that, create a shortcut on your phone. I have hundreds of shortcuts where I'm going, okay, cool, L1 means this, and it types out an entire message for me, and I sort of scan the message going, okay, cool, does that work? And then I send it, and that perfectly gives the entire information that I want to be typing out, what so I'll preempt. If I'm going to go, hey, I want to tell you about my services, then I'll go, hi, my name's Kevin. I'm from Business by Design. This is my number. I'd love to chat to you about this. But I put all of that into a shortcut. So all I then do is type L1, and that entire shortcut shows up, and then I send. And it's little practical, simple tools that people can use, especially if you're an entrepreneur or a small business, because you're wanting to get to everything, and being on social media. Yes.
So when you actually ask me how I am, and you're going, hi, Björn, how are you? You're actually just going, L10. And then I'm like, oh, okay. Just send me a message.
No,
so it's just gone, L10.
Yeah.
No.
But I love to say,
I strictly,
Kevin, I'm going to be like in Bali in the future. I'll be like in Bali's 11. And Bali, how are you? L11. And then
I strictly use that.
That's Kevin's shortcut.
Yeah.
So when you're adding hashtags, guys, when you're adding hashtags, you're looking, okay, cool, these are my hashtags. These are the ones I really like using often. You don't sit and type a hashtag out and go and copy and paste. And if you have a shortcut for that, you type, for me, it's H13. Then I've got like 20 hashtags that I want to hashtag. It just becomes that proper thought about engagement before you just go DM me. For me, if someone goes DM me, I'm like, delete. I'm not going to talk to you. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to engage. I think, even though it's a social media platform, I think we all need to start, and, COVID's put us in this position as well. We need to really start showing up in a little bit more engaged fashion. And I think maybe, correct me if I'm wrong, Molly, but that's probably, linked to the success of what you've had, is creating a bit of that standard and going, guys, if we're going to do this, and if we want to connect, let's do it properly.
100%.
Properly. I think having that really core communication system in place, it helps both people. So if I'm asking for a cake and someone says, I make cake, and we come together, there's just so much room for things to go wrong in terms of an accountability, or where things go wrong, because I, as the person who's requesting a service or whatever it is, a skill, I haven't been clear in what I want. You go, do you want to come? Okay, babe, but what? And the person coming to you also needs to have a specific idea of what it is that they want. The DM for price, you're giving yourself so much more admin, because you got to go sit and read through everybody and then individually respond. Get the people you need and just get it going. Yeah.
Sure. And Bali, on that note, there's an amazing question in the Q&A from Janine, which is totally linked to what you said. She asks, is there a possibility for I know a guy? And by the way, everyone, if you're reading the questions, ICAG is I know a guy, just FYI, or in this context, I know a girl, to put something in place if certain keywords are mentioned in the ask. So you as a follower get notified about that. I think that's an amazing question. Maybe we can take that to Facebook directly, but separate conversation for another day.
Well, actually, we've been playing around with some concepts around the keywords, but not for our community members. And I just feel a bit like, daft for not having thought that. I definitely think you're right, because with our Noga, as being on a Facebook platform, the controls, we don't have as many controls as we would like. So when you're on there, you're seeing everybody's content. But what we do have is that they've just tested out, they just rolled out maybe about a week ago, is keyword alerts. So we can also pick up when people are being naughty or just, trying to sell something, whatever. We've got our list of keywords that we can respond.
Right.
But I'll definitely make a note about that. And I hope that it makes some cool changes.
Yeah.
Awesome.
You mean like keyword alerts, eh? Does she mean keyword alerts?
Yes. So I think,
Yeah.
Vali, like, for example, when you tag someone on Facebook, it goes blue. So, it would be that sort of thing that if you use certain keywords from our side, because, I mean, if you understand, I don't fully understand the algorithm because it changes so often. Literally. Like, every time I think I got it, I'm like,
I don't
know.
Contact my contact at Facebook South Africa and go, hi, just help me. When was the new update? A week ago. Oh, got it. I see why I'm having problems. But what's really true, it's just the fact that, we can get a notification. Because, like in Marketplace, for example, Marketplace, if you can set Marketplace on your phone even, so that the minute there's stuff that pop up, certain things will always pop up. So in that context, I know a guy would even get more traffic without a doubt. So
yeah.
Unfortunately, I know Janine, so we can always have this conversation offline as well. But I definitely think that should be amazing. So, yeah.
I'm keen. Yeah. Absolutely.
I love
they're
that.
always looking at ways.
Karen.
I was going to say, Facebook is always looking at ways to change or better their products. I think they've also just they're trying to re-push the whole jobs thing, I think with just the world falling apart for employment.
Yeah.
And even, but I mean, and I say this with love and respect for the platform, but like even then it still has a lot of work to do, because I saw a job posting for like to bring back a lost lover. So
wow.
I think they just need to work out, those like bring back lost lover. Yeah, no, I saw one of those. Like, so some things are still always in a testing phase. Yeah, the internet is crazy. It's crazy.
No, I just want to.
So there are features that are rolling out, and I'm really glad of Janine's suggestion, because I think it will go a long way.
I love Janine was saying specific is terrific. I love that slogan. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the point. The more specific you are, the more the terrific the communication becomes. But one of the things that you chatted about, or you mentioned earlier, was you didn't want to take on advertising on the site. So what was because essentially, when you're for example, Lifestyle Marketing, when we're out there, we're going, okay, cool. We want to get people to maybe sponsor the show and eventually get to that point, because, it's like a progression of things. What was your decision on not doing that? And why would you recommend that? Or what was that? Was it just a personal kind of thing?
In my broke times, I always ask myself that question, like, girl, we could be rich, like we could have, why did you say no? But I think there are a couple of reasons why I ended up just kind of deciding to keep things the way they are without the brand support. I find, so I've tried I think one major collaboration with the big bank, and I found that I just found that working with these brands, especially the corporates, you get booked for who you are, or you get into the space of collaboration because of how you're able to create a certain space and bring out a certain type of messaging and X, Y, and Z. And I think a lot of brands, when they come into a collaboration, especially when it comes to this type of thing in the SME space, there's just a lot of like, okay, so do this and post at 10 o'clock and blah, 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 blah. And I'm too self-willed for that, and I just want to come off as genuine. How are we denying a whole bunch of ads and a whole bunch of stuff, and then I'm like shoving this bank in your face or shoving this product in your face? But that said, there are different other ways that we can collaborate with brands. But essentially it came down to, I was trying to refine a product more than anything, and refine a system that worked and a system that was reliable and replicatable. A funny story is that there's a copycat group in Zimbabwe, and instead of kind of shutting them down, I just reached out, and we're doing a bit of a training and getting everybody to work and up and manage the way that we are. But the advertising rather was better spent at events or in the real-time space rather than in digital. I just, yeah, if I can help it, I'd rather not. Yeah.
No,
Wow.
I think that's really good advice, because, you know, especially when you're building your brand, you know, like I know that Ben and I both had that consideration. It's kind of going, is this who I want to have the association with? And why are we having this association? And I think it's, you know, money's lovely. It's wonderful. We all love money, but, you know, you also have to kind of go like, what is that value and what is it supporting? And, you know, why am I doing this in the first place? And if I cross that barrier, who knows what comes out on the other side, and you kind of lose track of everything. So I think it's a really good key sort of point to take away.
So Kevin, what I just heard, side note, sorry Mbali, is if I get a big sponsor for our show, I'll just take the money because you're going to sidetrack that idea.
I was part of the conversation.
We all have this.
No, I'm all good for,
not at all.
I'm all good for sponsorship, but I think, you know, what I would have a problem with would be if they had a problem with me having a glass of wine in my hand. Like, I'd be like, well, then you've lost the plot about why we're doing what we're doing, you know. 100%. And I think brand association needs to be quite specific and sort of hit the mark, and everyone should win from it.
Yeah, you want to make sure that we are owning it. But there are also, just I want to touch on that thing with monetization. Is I've seen a lot of other groups on Facebook do it, where they'll, you know, add their bank account details or whatever it is, and they will allow that post as a sponsored post. I just think it's a lot of work. I don't know how it works, but also from the Facebook perspective, they were working on ways to find admins like myself, since, well, part of my role was to promote communities in South Africa to Africa and South Africa to marketing companies across the globe, you know, your top marketing brands around the world, and show them that if we're able to create these communities with nothing, imagine what you guys could do if you gave us money. So Facebook is definitely working on an internalized monetization program in any case, and that's just what I thought I might have to just quickly share before we carried on.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Absolutely. Cool. I know Kevin's got a question or two, so go for it, Kev.
So one of the things that I've seen that Christopher asks is, what other ways are there that we can collaborate with brands? Like if that's a consideration, and, you know, from the platform, is there a way that we do that effectively without kind of going, hey, choose me? You know, like what other ways are there to sort of collaborate, and can we use the platform to do that?
Very interesting question. I'll touch on the first one, where it is really difficult to stand out in a sea of respondents. So I think the best way to nail that really is just the message that you send in that comment, you know, exciting, captivating, different. And I wish I knew how to, I can do it for me or I can do it for others, but I don't have a manual or anything like that. It's just being able to use words, I guess, or to get people excited about prospectively working with you. How people can connect, that really fell onto the interpersonal space, which I think is what made it really popular amongst people who just rock up their business cards and their best selves and just like super connect. I'm very anti a lot of, I'm anti boring entrepreneurship marketing and stuff, you know. They got this like business influencer or like someone successful like out there, well done. But I think also, just a side rant here, quick little chat, is that just also just in terms of quality information, you know, we always just, social media will always want you to put like your perfect self on. And I think there are also, being an entrepreneur and being other things, there are also mistakes, and there are also just like some challenges that we don't really get to address. So I really enjoyed creating a space of my own where we can actually chat about like the F-ups, you know, looking at case studies or looking at someone who could share their business journey with a couple of lessons along the way. But in terms of connection with other people, the most common thing that I've seen is just someone in the comment thread, people just find each other in that space. And fortunately as well, we haven't had anyone really weird who like lurks the group and like DMs everybody or something like that. But wow, for like that, with these hashtags, like, so thank you, you know, thank you that we've seen. Yeah, so that's basically how some people like to connect. it's really a lot easier connecting offline, but also Facebook is now I'm speaking like an ambassador for Facebook, but Facebook also has something called Facebook Rooms, which is basically
Yes.
like a house party. So I look forward to really throwing some banging parties online while we're in lockdown and just getting people just to like hang out in my house of like rooms and just like party with each other and connect.
So keen.
I really, really
I'm so keen.
people
I want to be on that invite list, please.
yeah.
Mbali, you've just raised such an important comment because Chris just asked, he says, Mbali, have you ever thought of Facebook Live networking events or connecting events, especially during COVID-19? And so, Chris, if you don't know what Facebook Rooms is, the best place to go. Oh, cool. So, Kevin, let me explain to you.
Please tell us. Please tell us.
There's a little app on your phone with an F. That doesn't stand for family, that stands for Facebook. But Kevin, on a serious note, if you go into Facebook Messenger, you'll actually have a look, click on the top left where your profile picture is, and then you'll be able to scroll down and you actually go into the rooms. It's a really cool feature. And then you can invite people. Now, Bali, am I correct to say that someone doesn't have to be on Facebook as long as they've got the code in order for them to get in, or do they have to be a Facebook member? I just can't remember exactly when I was doing my research.
Double check with that. Yeah, I'll double check on that, but I'm not sure it's limited to people within Facebook. But yeah, I'll prefer to double check and just maybe give you some info that you can share after this.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No, I like that feature. I remember thinking, oh, clever Facebook. So as much as people market for Facebook by default, obviously, I mean, it's the fact that you put an event on there, if you create a group, if you create a closed group, a private group, whatever you do, you're marketing Facebook for people that are not on there. And I remember thinking, is that their way of targeting moms, dads, who are maybe like, Facebook's for younger people, despite our, the different conversation, different day. But the thing that I thought was really cool was you're going to get granny and grandpa on there that maybe might not have gone into Facebook because of that code. And they go, oh, what is this no platform that's connecting? And I remember thinking, brilliant concept to actually bring community together. I always say the best marketing is by not marketing. And I loved that. So, no, it's true. I mean, I can tell you now, I know of people that joined, I know a guy, and that's how I got introduced. It's because someone sent me a link and said, have you seen this? And I was like, what is this? And I then had to sign up for it. I didn't know. And that's how that's a true story. That's how I find out. But I mean, obviously, I know guys going for years, but that's how I discovered it. Someone sent me a link saying, listen, I think this is a service you can do. Because they were looking for an MC, and they were like, Björn, this is you. And I was like, what is this group? And that's how I signed up. And so, I mean, it's amazing. Wow. It's like absolutely incredible. And Bali, one question I have for you is how long has I Know a Guy been going for? And yeah, like that's the one question I don't know.
I think 3 or 4 years. I just need to double check. Like, I've got this somewhere. I'll do a quick check, but it's about 3 years or 4. This will be the 4th year,
amazing.
Actually.
Okay. And are people, do you find the audience is just South African based or they kind of global?
Global. So mostly from South Africa. We've got about, I think, a 10% audience in the United States. In fact, a cool brag of my own is that, a lot of these international organizations will contact me by virtue of the fact that I'm able to access a lot of people and therefore funneling those opportunities into the community. That is really, really incredible. We also have quite a large membership in the UK. We're also setting up an I Know Guy in the UK. So there are two sides, which is like expanding these groups and these communities, which is great. But there's also the side where I'd like to kind of also be able to move off of Facebook, just for the ability to have more control, for also to be able to do a lot of other different features and things, like we have a referral system, but also maybe like a ratings or people need to be qualified in a certain type of way. But yeah, so we have a lot of people from a lot of different spaces. Generally, your 19 to 35-year-old is like the majority of the age group.
Wow.
And there's interesting, it's pretty much an almost even split of genders, maybe like a 50-something, 40-something, in favor of there being more men on the let me just double check that. But but it's all changing. It's always super changing. I find in January, a lot more people come to the platform to look for work, or they have these new opportunities. It's been really, really awesome to have my own little, access to a sample size of what's going on in terms of entrepreneurship, in terms of the conversations, in terms of what people are looking for. And that's been really, really, really awesome. To see.
Cool. So we've just launched Kevin, which you've never had before, and I'm assuming he has a technical issue and he'll join us. But in Bali, so it's kind of with 5 minutes to go. I just want to know if we can just kind of do a bit of a wrap up, like kind of just give us your best 100 points. No, just some 5 points in terms of what you always recommend people do that would just always make sure that their posts are really great. Just like some tips as we're just wrapping up, just to give us a bit of context. Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I'd like to commend you on the confidence that you have that I would be able to fully focus on 100 lists. Do not have the attention span to do that. I tell side stories and we'd be here for 5 hours. So thanks for narrowing it down. I think when coming to the community, definitely communicate clearly. You want to make sure people know like your general location, have an email contact, or set up a Google Forms or whatever it is if you want to collect people's information, rather to build a database of cake makers or whatever it is. Be very clear in your communication. And if you are someone responding, please read the post. Really read it. We read, like we look for, like read it like poetry, like depth. Take it in, because you'll get a lot of information from there, and definitely put in a little bit of effort when you're reaching out. I do understand that it's a bit exhausting to be pitching the whole time and I'm a graphic designer, but Kevin has helped us with the shortcuts so we can have our little pitches ready. Hey, yeah, just L1 it, babe. Hit the L1, apply your stuff, and because people really are watching. It was not just the person who's posting; it's other people out there who are going, "Oh yeah, I also need cake," and like going through the prospects so they can pick someone else to work with. That's pretty much what it is. Yeah, continue to be great. Always strive to bring your best foot forward. Just no matter what you're doing, even if you're making toast, like make the best toast out there. This is what I believe. Like, got to have good toast, so like why not? And yeah, I think also just something is people it's a very tense and stressed out time. So a lot of people tend to blow off a bit of steam online, with a bit of a snide comment or this and that. Guys, if you can help it, don't. Or if you're in my community, please do, so that I can quickly remove you, absolutely quickly. But just remembering kindness, remembering that you are representing yourself when you're reaching out in these spaces, and it will go a really long way.
But we've got time for one more question. Janine asks, can you run a poll on I Know a Guy?
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Well, yes, you can. There are options to create polls. What we don't do, why I don't allow most polls to go through, you got to go through me or my team, is because some things we are not able to qualify. So like, what are you doing with that information, babe? Like, or some things are like, oh, if I had to make quilt blankets, would you buy them? And then they set that out as a poll. I'm going, it kind of takes away, it takes away from the purpose of what we're doing. So the polls are definitely out there and available, especially now in the space of COVID. I've allowed a couple of economic researchers to ask a few questions. That's 100% fine, because the assumption is that it's for a reason to understand the local economy. But yeah, the polls are welcome. Just not like, will you buy my hat? Let's not do that.
Got it. Fantastic. And Bali, as you're wrapping up in the next 2 minutes, in 30 seconds, just tell us if people want to get hold of you, if they want to give you another interview or anything like that. Number one, are you open to it? And number two, how would they get hold of you? I think that's going to be like really pertinent. And then while I wrap up, you can put your contact details in the chat section.
That is a plan. You can easily find me on Facebook as Mbali Ndlovu. I'll put my name down there. If you'd like to email me, the entry point would be iknowmbali@gmail.com. Like I know a guy, but iknowmbali@gmail.com. And Mbali Startup Grind Startup Grind is a community of entrepreneurs in the tech space, which is how we got together. It's kind of cool being a part of that tech space. But yeah, so I do have a cell phone. I never check my WhatsApps. It's a bad thing. It's such a bad habit. I'm worse now that it's locked down. I'm just like, So the emails work best and a call. I think I'm pretty open. If the interviews are as awesome as this has been really, really awesome. And you guys are actually been incredible. Yeah.
Awesome. Fantastic. Mbali, thank you so much for having us on the show. Oh my gosh, it's so, so exciting and just really amazing. I just love your energy and I love your heart for community. Thank you to Colleen. I saw the beautiful comment that you made. Thank you to Taryn for commenting as well. That's really awesome. I really, really love community because I've always believed in the fact that referrals happen within community. And because there's trust, there's relationship, and that's why I believe I Know a Guy works so well. And so as we're wrapping up in the last 30 seconds, I'm so excited. Guys, thank you for joining us today. We had Mbali from I Know a Guy on our show called I Know a Girl. And next week, what you can expect to see, we're going to be having a speaker. And Mbali, as you know, our theme this month has been online networking. So our speaker next week is going to be talking about something called 24/7/365. And so if you want to know more about that, she's built a phenomenal business. She is a personal mentor to me. Her name is Karen Metz. I'm so super excited. I've seen her talk at conferences, and she's really, really, really amazing. And so, yeah, we're going to have Karen Metz from talking on 24/7/365. My name is Björn. We've had Mbali from I Know a Guy. My name is Björn. I'm from a company called TNC Marketing and PR. And if you want to connect with us, it's really easy, www.tnc-marketing.co.za. And I know it's absolutely my fault, but our website will be up and live next week. So super excited, Mbali. Thank you very much for joining us. If everyone can give Mbali some love and be a bit of a clap, 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 clap in the chat, that would be really, really amazing. Thank you very much, Mbali. And Kevin says, unfortunately, he had some signal issues, so he's really sorry that he couldn't join, but he says, thank you so much. Mbali, for you to know and for all our viewers, what's going to happen from here is that all these recordings are going to be put onto YouTube. So Mbali will send you a link, and all of these are being converted into podcasts as well. And it's all going to be on my personal website, which is also coming out this month, which is super, super, super exciting. So guys, thank you very much. Join us next week. Put your ticket on Quicket. And Mbali, thank you very much. Lots of love. Have a wonderful day further. Take care, guys. Cheers. Bye-bye.
I had a great time. Thanks, Bjorn.
Cool. Thanks.